more music by the suckers. No more music by the suckers. No more music by the suckers.
From the world-famous Blackbird Studios, it's the Rave X podcast. And now, Rave X.
T-Money, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we're starting a little bit early here today at the Blackbird Studios because I got to take off in a little while to go see Justice League. That's right. Hey, you know what? You can't save the world alone, and that's why I need to be there to ensure that they have a healthy dose of vitamin X. Rave X, that is. Hey, this is the show, the Rave X Podcast, episode 22, a little show I like to call Welcome to Gunpoint. Hey, back in like 1989, 1990, your boy Rave got robbed at gunpoint for his leather jacket, and we're going to go over that story, man. It's crazy. So let's dive right in. So the story starts off with me coming home from school, man. I was going back to Dorchester. I was on the Red Line, and I get off at Ashmont. It's cold outside, and I had this leather jacket with a fur collar. They were very trendy back then. I believe they called them bomber jackets, right? And they were like $250, which back then was like $500 for a fucking jacket for a 15-year-old. So I get off at Ashmont. I'm walking up the long hill, and I get to the top of the hill, and I'm almost home, man. And I decide I want to stop into a corner store and grab a pack of Kit Kats and a soda. Hey, I was 15. I don't eat that junk anymore, but you know how it is, guys, right? So I get my stuff. I'm walking down the street, and I see this guy in a red jacket who I have seen before. Funny thing is, I actually saw him chump a guy for his gold chain on the Red Line when I was catching the last train home. And I see him, and I knew his name. Let's just call him D. And he looks at me, and I look at him, and I said, "Hey, what's up, D?" And he goes, "Hey, yo, what's up, man?" I said, "Hey, how's it going?" And I keep walking. And he goes, hey, yo, come here for a second. And I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. And he goes, yo, I need a favor, man. I need a favor. And I'm like, you need a favor? What? He goes, yo, I need something to hold, man. I need something to hold. I have no idea what that meant. So I'm like, do you want Kit Kats or what do you want? And he goes, no, come here for a second, man. Come here. And he was already kind of close to me. Then he grabs me by my sleeve, and he pulls me into an alleyway. And I'm like, what the fuck, right? He kind of gives me a little shove down the alleyway, and before I know it, we're at the end of the alleyway, which is like a backyard behind all the stores and stuff, like mom and pop stores. And this other guy who comes out, he looks like Biz Markie, but a bigger, angrier Biz Markie. And he's not about to make the fucking music with his mouth. He's got a loaded .38 in his right hand. And I just go, oh, shit. And this happened as fast as I tell you this, it's as fast as it happened. So I really didn't have time to turn around and run. There was no place to run. So D, in the red jacket, kind of gives me a shove into the backyard area, and he's blocking the alleyway. It's a real small alleyway, and his buddy Biz Markie, not the original Biz guys, I want to be clear. This is angry Biz Markie with a gun. He holds up the gun, and he points it at me. He's about 8 feet away from me, and D says, take off the jacket. Damn, I'm like, take off the jacket, bro. I thought me and you were cool. You know what I mean? He's like, yo, I ain't fucking around. Take off that jacket. So I slowly take off the fucking jacket, man. And it's like December and it's cold. There's snow on the ground. I take off the jacket and he reaches out and I hand it to him. And then he says, what's in the backpack? And I'm like, nothing, man. Books are in the backpack. I'm a fucking freshman in high school. I don't have anything. He's like, yo, you got any money? And I said, no. I just spent it on this soda and this pack of Kit Kats. You can have them if you want. And he goes, I empty out your pockets. I empty out my pockets, nothing. He's like, his boy Biz, evil Biz, just kind of is looking at me smiling. And then it's kind of like a quiet time when no one's saying anything, and I'm standing there in my shirt, no jacket. He's got my jacket. Biz has got the gun pointed at my face. And then I start to think. Now, back then, I was only 15, but I had taken some martial arts. I've been doing it since I was 11. And I thought, maybe I can kind of martial arts my way out of this, right? But I need to see one thing. I need to know if that's a real gun and if there are real bullets in there before I try to kung fu my way out of this fucking situation. So I take a step closer to Biz because I couldn't really see the cylinder of the gun, right? And I look and I can see the lead .38 caliber bullets in the chamber. This is a real gun because back then you could go to downtown Boston, you could buy what they call a starter pistol, like when people do races and they hold up the gun and fire it off. And that took a real brass shell, and it sounded like a real gun. But if you looked in the barrel, you could see that there was no real bullet in there. And I'm thinking maybe this is what it is. But when I saw the bullets in the chamber, I'm like, oh, fucking dick. God damn it. You know what I mean? So I'm sizing up the situation, and I realize, look, man, it's a jacket. You can buy another one. If you jump around and try to throw a kick at this guy, he's just going to shoot you. And it's going to be horrible. They're going to have to tell your mom that you died over a leather jacket, which, honestly, I wasn't willing to do. So I just kind of put my hands up, and I look back at D, and I go, all right, man, look, I don't got anything else. Can I just go? And he looks at me, and he goes, yeah, grab your shit and run, bitch. And I remember this, man, because this was crazy. A grown man telling another, 15-year-old, grab your shit and run, bitch. And there was something about that, man. I just couldn't let that stand. And I didn't grab my shit. I just couldn't do it, man. I was frozen. I don't have the coward gene. Now, next week's episode, 23, is called Welcome to the Coward Gene. We'll go over that more. But even with this guy holding a gun up at me, I couldn't grab my shit and run. I just couldn't do it. I was kind of frozen in place, right? So I just kind of stand there, and he's like, I said, grab your shit and run, bitch. And I'm like, oh, this is horrible. And again, I thought me and this guy were kind of cool. I used to see him. He'd say, hey, what's up? I'd say, hey, what's up to him. So finally he looks at me, and he goes, all right, you know what? It's cold out. I'm not going to let you freeze. And he gives me his jacket, his ratty old torn up red jacket. And I put the jacket on, and I'm disgusted, man. The jacket stinks. It's horrible. He's got my jacket on. And he goes, all right, bitch, you don't want to run? You're coming with me. And he grabs me by the collar, and he starts pulling me back down the alleyway. His buddy Biz, evil Biz with the gun, he just kind of stood there. He never really said a word. And so D pulls me back down the alleyway. Now we're out onto Washington Street, and I'm looking around, and there's like no one around really. And he goes, all right, you're coming with me. And we start walking to the bus stop. And I look at the bus stop, and it's the one bus that goes back to Dudley. I think it was the one bus. It might have been the 23. I don't know. I can't remember. And I look at him, and I go, where are we going? He goes, nah, you're going to see where we're going. You're going to see where we're going. You're coming with me, nigga. Now, I remember seeing something on TV that said, if you're ever in a bad situation and the person tries to move you, do whatever you can to get out of that, because they're probably going to do something horrible at the second location, right? So we're walking to the bus stop, and I'm trying to think quick. Maybe Evil Biz is watching behind us with his gun. Who the hell knows? And I said to him, hey, man, I don't have money for the bus. Can I just run into that corner store and get, like, change for the bus? And he goes, oh, you don't got money for the bus? Now I'll give you money for the bus. And I said, let me just stop in there and grab something real quick, man. Let me grab, you want some potato chips? I said, yo, let me grab you something, man. And he goes, all right, nigga, we going to the store. And he kind of shoves me again. And we go to the corner store, the same one that I had stopped off in before he pulled me into the alley. Now, this was part of the plan. And we go into the store, and he knows the person at the front of the store. So they strike up a conversation. Now, this is exactly what I was hoping would happen, man. Something to distract him. So I get up to the front of the store. I see the same Middle Eastern kid. He's young, man. He's like 18, 19, 20. And I grab just a bag of chips, and I put him down on the counter, and I looked at him, and I said, very quietly, do you remember when I was here about 10 minutes ago, and I bought some stuff, and I was wearing a black jacket? Do you remember that? And he looks at me, man. He doesn't really know where I'm going with this. And I said, okay, do you see that guy at the front of the store? He's wearing the jacket that I had on when I came in here. Do you remember that? And I'm trying to jog his memory. I can see that he really doesn't want to get involved, but I'm in a bad way. I need help, right? And he kind of looks at me, and I go, well, he pulled me into an alleyway. His buddy had a gun. He took my jacket. Can you please call the police? And the Middle Eastern kid kind of looks at me. I go, look, can I please come behind the counter and you just call the police? And he kind of gives me this look, and he's hesitant, but he raises up the thing to go behind the counter. And he says, like, the phone's in the back. You call the police. And I'm like, all right, fine. So I go behind the counter. I pick up the phone, and I start to dial. And then I hear D with my jacket go, yo, where you at, nigga? Where you at? Yo, what you calling the cops? No, don't call the cops. Yo, I'll give you your jacket back. Just come out with me. I'll give you your jacket back. And then he pushes past the Middle Eastern kid, and he comes into the back stockroom where I'm at. And he goes, nah, don't call the police, man. Don't call the police. I'll give you your jacket. Just come with me outside. I'll give you your jacket back. Of course, this is all bullshit. I'm going to come outside. He's going to fucking punch me. His buddy's probably going to shoot me. So I'm looking around for a weapon. Now, the phone had one of those really long 25-foot cables. This is before cell phones and shit. You had to have the old rotary phone with the long cord, right? So I'm as far on the other side of him as I can get. And I look down, and I see one of those heavy-duty staple guns. You know those big staple guns you staple like boxes together with? And I grab that gun, the staple gun, and I run up and I put it right in his face. And then he puts his hands up and starts backing off. And I said something like, get the fuck away from me, man. Just get the fuck away from me. And he's like, yo, we cool, man. Yo, you know me, we cool. Yo, I was just fucking around, we cool. And he backs off and he kind of takes off, out of the store. So I call the police. I tell the police what happened and I wait back there. The police come, they take a report. I'm telling them all this stuff. The Middle Eastern kid's just looking at me like, what the fuck? So the cops put me in the car, they drive me to my house, which was just around the corner, but still, I'm glad that I had that police escort. And I get out, I go upstairs, I tell my mom what happened and shit. She's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, they took my jacket, no big deal. She's like, yeah, we'll get you another jacket. And I'm like, come to think of it, I don't want another jacket, I'm fine. So, about half an hour later, we get a knock at the door. Police, open up. And I'm like, oh shit, am I in trouble? Open the door, police says, hey, look, we think we caught the guy, but you got to come downstairs and ID him. And at this point, guys, honestly, I'm done with this. He can keep the jacket. If you found him with a black leather jacket with a fur collar, that's probably him. And they said, nope, you got to come downstairs and ID him. And I'm like, fuck. And my mom's like, look, just go down and ID him. You'll get your jacket back. He'll go to jail. I didn't want this dude to see me again, man, because people do get out of jail and then probably, it's me, him, and Biz in an alleyway again. So I go downstairs. They got the paddy wagon there. And I said, can I just look in through the... And they said, nope. We got to open the door. You got to ID him in the jacket. And I'm like, fine. They open the door, and it's another black guy there in a black leather jacket, no fur collar. And he looks like he's out of breath, like he ran. I guess what happened was when the cops took off, they saw a dude who just ran. He probably had a warrant, you know what I mean? And I look in, and I look at this poor guy. He's about 19. He looks at me. I look at the cops, and I go, that's not him. And they're like, are you sure? Take another look. And I said, look, that's not him, and that's not the jacket. There's no fur collar, whatever. And they go, all right, man, fine. I go back upstairs. I never heard back from the cops. And luckily, I never heard or saw this guy D or his friend Evil Bismarck again. I did lose the jacket. I did have a gun shoved in my face. But you know what? I lived to tell the tale. It was crazy, right? Fucking crazy. All the adrenaline that pumps through you and shit. Absolutely insane, man. Anyway, that's going to do it for me. I got to take off to go see this movie. My name's Rave. Guys, remember this. If you ever find yourself in a hole, the very first thing you should do is stop digging. My name's Rave, and I'm out of here.
That was the Rave 10-minute podcast. Be sure to click like and subscribe. For podcasts, new music, and all things Rave, go to youtube.com and search Rave Music.